I'm glad you're riding and chatting with me today. I am on my way out to my daughter's house for a minute. I have a busy day. This is a day with Braden. It's going to be very long. I've already laid out all the important things I need to do early this morning just to get it out the way before it begins to get hot. I like to be in the office by the time it gets hot, but today I'm reflecting back on May 2017. And here is my story. I was babysitting my grandson, Braden, and I was watching a YouTube channel, and I saw this guy on skateboards, and then I saw another video of him riding across the air some kind of way, snowboarding. It was in the snow. Then he was in the rain on skateboards, and I noticed that he was always on his skateboard, most of the time in New York. So I have to be careful because some of these people drive real crazy when they're in a hurry. I always tell people, if you're in a hurry, leave home about 30 minutes early so you won't be in a hurry, so you can cruise along like I'm doing. And why is it that when people be in a hurry, they flying past you like they're crazy, and then come to up to a sign or a stop sign or a light, and guess what? They're there. You meet them there. Pay attention to it, happen every time. But anyway, I was trying to see what I wanted to do with videos and things, because I had already tried the networks, and the networks, we were like 95% there, but the networks are kind of, if you don't connect with the right person at the right time, once one network tell you that you need a celebrity figure to be on your channel so it can drive traffic in. Well, I understand all that. The only problem is when you look for a celebrity figure, you got to go out and get heavy loans just to pay that celebrity figure, because they start at $100,000 and up. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen. But what happened was, when I went to Bravo and USA and BET and OWN and E, I think when the first channel said you need a celebrity figure, they must type something in their system that goes through the whole network, because everybody said exactly the same thing from that point on. And I was like, come on now, somebody liked the show enough to pick it up. Everybody said the same thing. So BET picked the show up, but then right before filming, they canceled it because they picked up two big hitter shows that took a lot of their budget, I think. That's what I was told. But anyway, I was just proud that I made it that far with BET. I was just so proud of myself. I was elated. So I decided, I said, well, somebody said, why don't you go to YouTube? And at first I was saying, I don't want to go to no YouTube. I didn't know anything about YouTube. I never got on YouTube. I never watched YouTube. Anyway, when I was watching Casey Neistat, and I'm not promoting him, I'm just talking about it. When I was watching Case and Nice, I said, well, all he have is a camera. And he have his camera attached to something. And he's videotaping himself. That's all he have. So why can't I do that? And that was the day that I began. The only problem was I had no camera. I had my phone. I did not like the way my phone was videotaping me. Now I know people say you are what you are in the camera. I know, but I did not like the way the videotape was taping me. So I went to the pawn shop. Yes, I did. I don't mind telling because somebody needs to hear this. And I bought me a 30X Sony camera. I bought me some tapes. I had already been editing on Avid software because I learned how to edit at Houston Media Source. I got to give them their props because they taught me a lot. They really did. And so that's where it began. So I thought I knew what I was doing. I had no idea I did not know what I was doing. But somebody on YouTube I was watching, and he said, listen, just start somewhere. You don't have to have the expensive tripods and the expensive cameras. You don't have to have the expensive lights. Just get some light. And I got some light. And I got the camera. And I didn't have no tripod, so the guy, forgot his name in Houston Media Source, he said, just get the shot the best way you can. And that's what I did. So, I propped my camera up on some boxes that leveled with me, and I began to talk. Now, I know people were laughing at me. I know they was. They was laughing at me and saying, girl, what are you doing? But that's the way I got started. And yes, of course, your lights go out, your cameras go out. You always got to have a backup camera. So I went and bought another camera, a 60X. I thought I was a big shot. I did. Then I was looking on eBay, and I saw some lights, and I said, ooh, I think I can work long enough for about 2 weeks to make enough money to get me some lights. And I bought me a light kit. It cost $200 and something, but I had a light kit. Oh, I thought I was a big shot. I'm setting up my lights and setting up my cameras, and I'm just, I have a sign on the door say, filming, do not disturb. Oh, I was a big shot. Did not know I was still a little shot. I had a ways to go. So anyway, that's okay though. I was still filming. I didn't know what I was filming. I was talking about any and everything. I was trying to get my family, the Braden sisters, to film with me. Well, I guess they didn't see what I liked, so they didn't do too much. They was like, what are you doing? I don't know if they didn't want to be on the camera. I don't know if they didn't like what I was doing. I don't know. But a lot of times about me is when I'm doing something and somebody don't want to do it with me, I just look in a different direction. But I got to stop right now because I've got to go inside real quick, and I've got to do a walkthrough with my daughter, and I'll give you a couple of highlights. I love the house, but just 1 or 2 shots so you can see. Anyway, I'll come back to you again. There's going to be a part 2 to this story. There's going to be a part 2. And I'm just praying that everyone is okay and getting better, and thank you. They're getting better, and family. They can see their family members and everything, because it's really crazy. And I just pray for everyone that I'm affiliated with, everyone I'm not affiliated with, everyone that tell me about somebody in their family that got COVID. I just pray for them. Let me get my coffee now, because you know how you are with your coffee. You have on white jeans, guess what? You're going to spill your coffee. And I've decided I'm going to get me a, because it happens every time. You have on white jeans. Thank you. And you spill your coffee. So I've decided I'm going to get, well, listen to this. You know, like I know, you are on your way to a meeting and you have on your nice clothes, but you're hungry, you want to stop, get yourself something to eat, and guess what happens? You waste the food on you. So now you have to go into the meeting with a spot on your pants, on your blouse, on your shirt. And you remember the sign, I don't know if you watched Seinfeld, and Elaine's cashmere sweater, she got it and there was a spot on it, and every time she walked in the room, the people noticed the spot. That's all they noticed, was the spot. So you know that the people are gonna notice a spot on your clothes. Then they'll notice your clothes are pretty. Anyway, I'm gonna make a big bill that you can put on. I think I'm gonna charge $1.99, but you can put on your whole body, over your whole body. It's gonna be pretty now, but it's gonna cover you when you're eating, drinking, sipping, whatever. Remember, bibs are not just made for kids. Anyway, I'll come back in a minute. Left Crystal's house, and forgive me if I have to stop and do something, because I'm looking around at trucks and cars, and I'm trying to stay my distance, and police officers, but I just left Crystal's house, and I was thinking about, you're always thinking about how your children made it to this point, or what they did to make it to this point, what did they do, and I just reflected back on, there were 3 key points that reminded me of Crystal. I mean, she's a great speaker, number one. She just shoot from the hip, and she's just great. But 3 key points when she connected with Miss Winfrey. The first point I remember, Crystal was opening a company, and we helped her out, you know. She was 16. And it was called Kanoko College Knot Colors. And she wanted to make apparel that let people know that it's about college, it's not about the color of your skin. That's what she wanted to do. So she sent a letter to Miss Winfrey, and we just knew it was a long shot. We knew there was a possibility she's not going to respond. And believe it or not, we received the letter back. And she wasn't going to help us with it, but definitely she wrote a letter back to Crystal, and I still have the letter today, saying, keep the faith, and I wish you all the luck in your endeavors. Now, and she signed her name. Now, I don't know if she signed her name or not. You know how this thing go. She might have signed her name and she might not have. I don't know. It might have been a stamp. But the fact that it came from Oprah Winfrey's office. The second point of Oprah Winfrey was when Crystal was in college and she was getting ready to graduate. She called me one day and she said, "Mom, guess who's speaking at our commencement?" sit down, because I know you're going to start screaming everywhere. I say, no, I'm not. She said, yes, you are. She said, Miss Winfrey is going to be the commencement speaker for my graduation. And she was right, because I started screaming. I started sweating, because my mind started running on, what can I do? So, we went to the graduation, and I didn't realize you had to be there by 5 o'clock because the line was so long. It was at Howard University. Now don't go nowhere because this thing gets better. It's at Howard University, and we had to end up on the back row, the last row in the bleachers. And at first I was pissed off because I was like, I'm all dressed up in the back row. And I was in the back row looking around, and you know I'm always looking around, watching people and seeing what people are doing. And I saw a lot of setup at the back door of the building where the doors were open. I say, there's something going on back here. And then a light went off. A match went off, a bell went off. I don't care what went off. And I said, I told my friends, I said, and Crystal's dad, I bet you Miss Winfrey coming through that back door. And believe it or not, after about 15 minutes, Miss Winfrey came through that back door. And when she came to the bleachers, I promise you, I was about 2 feet from her. I mean, it was amazing. And of course, she looked up in awe, and she was in tears because she never thought that she would be accepted by her own. Why? I don't know. She was so powerful. But in her speech, she did say, never compromise your integrity. Your integrity is not for sale. Now, that was the highlight of my day. That was the highlight of my year. I got a chance to be 2 feet from Miss Winfrey. We couldn't touch it because they had the guardrails and everything. So, we left the commencement, went to dinner, talked about Miss Winfrey, her speech. She was there, blah, 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 blah. It was great. It was awesome. Maybe about 3 months later, Crystal called me and she said, Mom, guess what? And I said, what? She said, my friend called me because I hadn't bought the yearbook yet because I didn't have the money to pay, I think $60 or $80 for the yearbook. It might have been $160, I don't even know. But I know it was up there and I didn't have the money. Anyway, her best friend called her, Dion, and he said, Crystal. Now let me go backwards. I'll put a bookmark that. Crystal was on the newspaper writing for Kanoko, and she had a section in the Bison's newspaper. I don't know, maybe for about a year. Crystal spoke at events. She was part of NAACP and all of that. She was in magazines and Los Angeles Urban League Student of the Year, and she was in a lot of things from age 15. So anyway, he called and said, Crystal. Now, my point was, she didn't even know anybody in the yearbook department. She didn't know anybody in the yearbook department. Nobody. But her friend called and said, Crystal, somebody put you on the same, this was God. This was nothing but the Almighty God, I'm telling you. Somebody put you on the same page right underneath Miss Winfrey in the yearbook. Now mind you, Over 13,000 students graduated from Howard at the commencement. BA degrees, BS degrees, masters, executive masters, PhDs, doctorates. I said, you know what, I don't even believe it. I don't believe it until you send it to me. She clipped a picture of it and she sent it to me. This is the picture right here. Because I know somebody sitting out saying, I don't believe that. This is the picture right here. For a moment, I said, how did you get? She said, Mom, I have no idea how I got my picture, excuse me, on the same page as Miss Winfrey. 3 key points in life. I told Crystal one day, I said, you know what? One day you're going to meet Miss Winfrey. You are. Because the reason why, you're just like her. You're powerful in speech. You're powerful in everything you do. You master everything you do. You're passionate about everything you do. You're going to meet Miss Winfrey. I just hope I'm still here living to see it. So those are the 3 key points that I wanted to share with you. So those are the 3 key points I wanted to share with you about Crystal and Miss Winfrey. I'm getting ready to exit now because I have to go to the printer because I have to print up some labels. I have to get some labels printed up for the barbecue sauce. Now, I'm going to say this. When you go into business for yourself, always have more than one resource you can go to in your database because I need these labels for Monday. And they can get these labels for me for Monday. So I'm going to get me some labels printed up so I can label the gallon jars. And then I'm going to go and get some labels printed up for some 16-ounce jars. And then I'm going to get some labels printed up at the main source where I get my labels printed from. For both of them, 500 to 1,000 labels. So let me go inside. Let me pay more attention to getting off this freeway. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to talk to you. I hope you come back in my part 3. Chat with me. Listen at my story because I have a lot more stories to tell. Most of them good, some of them not so good. But I want to share with my friend tubers.